people wanted to see for years, but that's the sort of the box office match, isn't it? It's the match that would get everybody interested. I mean, out of all the matches that the X1 just gave there, not one of those matches would compare to an Undertaker Cena match. So, is there value in it? I know that Vince has been quoted as saying, he feels that it's too predictable to happen, so that's why he doesn't want to do it now. But really, should that be a reason not to have a match like that?
It comes back to what I said earlier now again, but the legacy factor, that is one that definitely leaves a lasting legacy, doesn't it? John Cena versus The Undertaker, it just looks so good on paper. And whether it would actually play out that well in the ring, I'm not too sure. I mean, I mentioned earlier that now I'm looking at Undertaker and I'm thinking he's really starting to look his age. And after the match we saw John Cena have, John Cena would have to do a lot of the work in this match. I'm not saying that he couldn't do that, but it might be a little exposing for The Undertaker, because as of late he's been wrestling a bit slower. So I would like to still see it, definitely though. So if it doesn't happen at Mania, maybe it will happen at Survivor Series.
Yeah, I was just thinking when you were saying that I wonder really what on earth could Roman do with working with The Undertaker. I mean, it could be even worse, couldn't it? It's something like blind leading the blind there. In terms of they'll both be doing the no selling thing. Undertaker trying to do it in his character, but Roman just doesn't sell anyway. So that would be interesting. I mean, it's we'll have to see. I mean, you never know. It could still be thrown up there. I do think it will be a shame if we never get to see that match play out, but it is looking very unlikely, I will say now. Given what we know, but of course it does lead that maybe the two pay-per-views are going to be a little bit more meaningful because a lot could happen. But I don't want to see too many changes. Like the way it is at the moment, Matt, it almost seems like there has to be quite a lot of changes before we get to WrestleMania, which you don't always want that. You want it to be slightly consistent so the champion is slightly dominant. I think if Cena was to lose it in a month just to get that Bray Wyatt thing fixed, that seems a bit naff to me, in a way. But that could be the way they go, I guess. But it'll be a little bit disappointing if Bray's reign is only a month, for instance. I don't know. But then what is the other way you go with it? I mean, it's so difficult unless you start having triple threats and all this type of stuff. So who knows? Matt, overall, to sum up, are we exactly in the position we was in last year, or do you think we're in a better place because going into WrestleMania? Because last year's WrestleMania was dog awful. We don't want the same thing to happen. We didn't think the Rumble could be as bad as it was last year, but I feel like the underbelly was perfect. I don't want to take anything away from those matches, but the way I feel after the whole show is very similar to how I felt last year. Slightly disappointed that we didn't get something unpredictable. I don't think we got everything that we was kind of promised along the way. But Matt, I mean, do you think we're in a better situation than we were last year, given that we had Shane versus Undertaker in Hell in a Cell?
I reckon the possibility to do better is better at this point of the year than it was last time. I think they have the options to tweak it and change it and put the right people versus the right person. But if it's nailed down and it is what everyone is speculating that these matches are going to be, then I am a little bit worried because I'm not exactly excited for many of them at all. And that's kind of difficult for me to say because I usually like to be optimistic, and I do enjoy wrestling. I like watching it and I won't miss it anyway. It's just kind of making me feel like, okay, I'm going to be in for 4 hours of meh.
Yeah, we don't want that again. I tell you, it was a difficult watch last year. So, we hope, we do live in hope that there is going to be some excitement. I don't know where it comes from. Obviously, it's going to be interesting to see what happens tonight. Raw live tonight. I can give you a little heads up that Brock Lesnar is scheduled to be on that show, so it'll be interesting to see his fallout. Are we going to get are they just going to announce it, Matt? Sod it. Let's just book it now. Goldberg versus Lesnar, WrestleMania. Who knows? The way they've gone with this, you might as well just do it now. Get it out of the way with, because I think we all know it's very likely it's going to happen now anyway. So, the possibilities of it not. I tell you, one match that was getting bandied about though that I really didn't like the look of either was a triple threat match between Brock, Undertaker, and Goldberg. I thought, what the hell? How could you just sling him back into this? Like, we've seen Brock and Undertaker. I thought that was all settled at Hell in a Cell, the last one they were going to have. Like, to have him in this, I mean, that just looks like a disaster. I mean, those three guys, jeez. So, you still there, Matt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be awful. That's not something that I want to see at all either. You're right. I think that feud is dead now. No pardon in the tongue there, no pardon for the Undertaker. But and then working that, there would always be someone out of the match taking a rest, having a break for 5 minutes.
Maybe that's why they do it. Who knows? So interesting times ahead of us, no doubt about it. Want to thank everybody for all their emails that have come in, giving you your feedback. It's a shame it's a negative one, Matt. It's a shame it has to end that way. I didn't want another year, 4 years in a row. Oh dear, it's getting a bit of a streak of its own there, isn't it? Not picking the right sort of ways to go. But I think it's just I don't think it's so much the winner. I just think it's the way they do that match. That's been the biggest disappointment. Matt, thank you as always for coming on the show to give us your thoughts on this one. It's been a long one.
Yeah, not a problem at all. And I hope that, despite its downfalls, people did find matches that they enjoyed at the Roman Rumble.
Yeah, Jimbo, just watch the Cena match again. Just get watching that. You'll be all right.
I think they should rename it the Roman Rumble from now on, 3 years in a row.
Yeah, absolutely. He's getting his own legacy there, isn't he? He really is. Thank you for everyone, and we'll be back next week, folks. Until then, have a great week.